Welcome back to NorthWest Digital News. I'm Kevin Hunter, Chris Mornstead, Pat Ferguson in studio here on a beautiful Wednesday, July 11th. Kyle will kick us off with a forecast of the weather.
The weather. Well, let's see if it's good.
It's really hot.
Oh, look at that. Pool days. So it's going to be in the high 80s, even reaching 93 on Thursday. But today's going to be a high of 86 with a low of 57. It's going to be sunny. And tomorrow, sunny. And the day after that, sunny. And the day after that, sunny.
More sunny.
And more sun. It's going to fluctuate between like 85 to 92 between the whole week. It's just going to be sunny or pool days if you want to think about that. So yeah, I enjoy it.
Chris, did you get a new set of water wings?
You know, I'm looking at this, and you know, we have been on vacation for the last 11 days, and I'm looking at this. The wife goes back to work on Friday, and it looks as if you're going out of town, so we aren't doing a show on Friday.
Correct.
So I am just going to go ahead and after this broadcast, go home and get into my pool and get out of it again next Tuesday.
Everybody's going to see a live stream though from the road. I got some cool places I'm going to. And we're going to launch a few live streams.
Please tell me that you're going to be looking for coal dust.
We're going to be looking for coal dust.
Coal dust, yes.
Yep, we're going to be looking for coal dust.
Mythical coal dust.
The mythical coal dust, yes.
Okay.
Be careful, Kevin.
Yes.
So
we don't want you to get hurt.
We could be sniffing, you know, like a coke addict sniffing all the way from. Yeah.
There it is.
We found some. No, well, I'm kidding. Yeah. You're not going to find any. But anyway.
Anyway, yeah, so we'll be sniffing for some coal dust on the way back. And so on the show today, we wanted to talk about a few different subjects. You guys went and attended a SWAC meeting last night, so we'll do a little recap on that here in a moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, we probably want to do that one last.
You should post this on Waste Connections, Inc., their Facebook page.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Those guys.
And then, so we're going to talk about also Trump pardoned the Hammonds was a big story in the news here just recently. What do you guys think about that? Dwight Hammond Jr. and his son Stephen pardoned after the 2012 arson conviction. They had actually already spent some time. They had done their time for that, and then the Obama administration basically threw them back into jail.
Here's what I'm going to say about that. Number one, I think this is a fantastic thing that this has happened. You know, these guys were in the right. And two, it's nice to have a president that has the huevos to do his pardons at the beginning of his term instead of waiting at the end. And
yeah, a lot of them do it at the end, like when they're getting ready to say,
"No way, man,
goodbye." Oh wait,
no, Trump.
I'm going to let these 12 people go, or
right?
You know,
yeah, I mean, he's
go.
pardoning. I mean, our Trump is just all over on the pardons, and he's pardoning people like this that deserve it, and he's pardoning people that have been in prison way too long for
Dinesh D'Souza was one of them.
Simple drug charges, and I mean, this guy, he's just an awesome businessman for this nation.
What a guy.
He
so
really
it says
is.
here, Dwight Hammond is now 76 years old, served approximately 3 years in prison. Stephen Hammond is 49 and served approximately 4 years in prison. They also paid $400,000 to the United States to settle a related civil suit. So these guys paid a little price for all of this, but with the end walk here or end result rather is that
they were in the right.
They were in the right, and the Hammonds needed to be pardoned.
Yeah, I think it's just simply fantastic.
Well, nice job by President Trump. We also wanted to share a story about a young girl here who's actually showed up in social media. There's actually a few of these cases here, but this is Tiana Drake. If you have seen her, her family would like to know, so you can make either comments in the thread here. Missing from Longview, Washington, 17-year-old Tiana Drake. I hope we're saying that right.
Do we know anything about her or like, you know, where she was last seen?
It is believed that she's potentially being harbored by people in this region because
So is she a runaway or just missing?
Right now categorized under missing, but potentially a runaway. So it says family has not seen or heard from her, and a friend of the family has indicated that she was living on the streets with another female. Tiana is described as a white female with dark brown hair, brown eyes, 5'4", weighing 150 pounds. So reach out on social media, share Tiana Drake's picture out there, and hopefully her family can find her. All right, well, let's move on to SWAC. You guys had a chance to go to the SWAC meeting last night. I have a couple statistics that, because there was a lot of people there at the meeting that were sending me information, so I have a few stats that I'll share as well. But Kyle, let's start with you. You've actually been to, here's an interesting thing I want to share with our viewers. We have all these city council people on Klamath, Woodland, Longview, Kelso, Castle Rock, all these areas around. And I don't know how many of them have sent letters to the county commissioners and asked them to slow this process down of, looking at this public-private partnership. But here's the interesting thing. To all of you elected officials out there that are writing your letters and sharing your resistance to the county doing something different with the landfill. Right across from me, take a really good look. 19-year-old Kyle Torgerson has been to Roosevelt landfill twice. He's been to the headquarters landfill to also visit with Mike Moss and Ron Williams, and he was to the open house that was on June 19th at the Expo Center. He knows more about the landfill than any of you, probably all of you combined. I would really like to know how you have an opinion on something of which you know nothing about.
It was really bad. I also attended this meeting last night, and the amount of misinformation that was coming just from the SWAC board itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not their fault, you guys. There's a lot of fear. I mean, even one of the SWAC board members said, you know what, if we do this, we're going to get sued, which I don't know if that's true or not. And he doesn't either. So he shouldn't have been saying stuff like that.
I got news for you. If you step out, if to anybody in our listening audience who's thinking about potentially getting into business, one of the risks of doing absolutely anything is you might get sued.
Yeah.
That's not a reason to not do something.
Right. But it was a fear thing, and you could tell that it affected his judgment.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is that you are right. 19-year-old Kyle has done more than the SWAC board members did to investigate this issue than majority of the people. It was absolutely incredible. The SWAC board members up there did not have the information, and they tried to blame this all on the county commissioners. And it's not them. You know what, SWAC board members? It's your fault. You are the ones that are supposed to be out there investigating and looking for this information. Most of the time, it's just handed to you. And I guarantee you that you have had the same information that the citizens have had, and we can make educated decisions from that paperwork without having to listen to what other people that want different things have to say. The backroom deal guys. And it was incredible to watch this. And then something else that happened last night that I don't know how we even address this is that one of the owners of Waste Control, last name is Willis, is on the SWAC board, okay? And he has monetary gain from this, and he has recused himself from these votes. But yet he was in there last night, sitting up there like a board member, whispering in the ear of the other people that are on the board, getting his questions asked.
Since he recused himself, I'm sure he had no influence on that.
No.
Right.
In fact, let me tell you
that
how
was
much
sarcasm,
Yeah,
Chris.
well, just let me tell you exactly. Well, no, I'm actually kind of heated by this because there was a lot of things wrong with the structure of last night's meeting. You had somebody that is supposed to be recused from this issue up there interacting with the citizens. And to make this worse, Kevin, he sat up there and said, this is a SWAC board member saying that his company will raise the rates on the citizens if they do this deal with Republic. Okay, that's garbage. And that is a threat. And that is...
Pardon the pun. It's garbage.
It is garbage. But, if you're recused from this issue, you don't get to write notes to the other members of the board. You don't get to ask questions, and you don't get to threaten the citizens of this county and the cities saying that you are going to raise the rates if we do what's best for us ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And, that has to be addressed. Again, something else that happened last night that shouldn't have happened. When the county got up to give their spiel of this, the county manager got up there and started saving these guys when they couldn't answer questions. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
The guys that are running the landfill right now, they could not even tell us how much the landfill was worth over the life of it. They didn't know. They had to pass on the question.
Mm-hmm.
So these guys, they can run a landfill, but can they really run a landfill? I don't think
When we made our trip there to headquarters landfill, I came out of there feeling like these are a couple of guys who are doing the best job they can given the situation. I know both of them. I know Mike Moss a little better than Ron Williams, but know both of these guys, and they're both great guys, doing the best they can. They're severely outgunned.
Yeah. Well, the SWAC board, when you look at how it's set up, you have like 3 citizens on there, and the rest of them are industry folk. So all of these people that were on the SWAC board last night, they either worked for companies that are opposed to this deal because they would lose their sweetheart deals, or you had guys that were going to make money off of this in the future up there, you know, or lose money. In the case of the Willis brother that was sitting on the SWAC board, who's been there since 1980 something. That's way too long to be on the SWAC board. But anyway, that's way too long for anybody to be on any board. But anyway, again, very, very inappropriate stuff at the meeting last night. If I was a SWAC member, I would have been afraid to have voted because of all the misinformation, the lies coming from our representatives. We had city council members from other cities up there saying, I'm not here as a councilman. But guess what? My constituents are calling me and talking to me, telling me they want me to slow this down.
I think you're there as a councilman.
You are there as a councilman if you are using your constituents as part of your argument.
Yes.
So again, there was all kinds of problems with this meeting. It was recorded by one of the social media sites here. I'm trying to find out if it was recorded by KLTV, because I think it's very important for the citizens to see the abuse of the SWAC board member, Mr. Willis, last night when he threatened every resident in this county to raise their rates.
Mm-hmm. Okay, something else I want to throw out, and I'm going to have you guys comment because I think some of these points were actually made at the meeting by others that commented there. So I'll give you an opportunity to speak on that since you were there. But here's the interesting thing. This was actually reported in the TDN today, Jackson Hogan. It's important actually to know what the sources of these numbers are. So of the people that spoke there last night, there was a total of 24.
Correct.
24 speakers at the podium.
Yes.
Now here's something for our viewers to know. Of the 24, 15 of them are citizens. So let's kick the other 9 out for a moment. 15 of the 24 speakers were citizens here from Cowlitz County. 10 were for the public-private partnership. 4 were opposed. 1 was neutral. That sounds like pretty dang good support from the citizens of our community.
It goes typically how the hearings go here. They pack the house with people that are in the industry or you know, have something to do with the industry, and they just listen to my fellow citizens. We have talked for years about the backroom deals and all of this stuff that goes on in this county. This is the first opportunity that we have seen, that I have seen, for us to get a fair deal in this county without involving the good old boys network. Mm-hmm. And that's with Republic Services. You know what? The good old boys are trying to crush this, and they're doing a pretty good job of misrepresenting the truth to the citizens. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they even have it just all kinds of just tactics being used to make sure that the big businesses in our area get to keep their deals, their sweetheart deals. They don't want the citizens to get the good deal. Mm-hmm. They want it. Yeah. And that is why you see this opposition from these companies. And even one of the companies that was against this deal had a member on the SWAC board. I mean, it's just totally, you know, again.
Okay, so I want to finish this here so that people know then, because what was reported in the TDN is that there was a greater number of speakers against than for. So we need to know who these other people were that were against. So 10 citizens said thumbs up, 4 citizens said thumbs down, 1 citizen was unsure, neutral. So there was 9 other speakers. And these 9 other speakers, 7 of them were local government, council people, etc. And 2 were company officials. Now, 1 was from Waste Connections and the other one from...
Yeah, 2 companies that both lost the bids, okay?
Okay. So let me finish this then. So 2 companies who were out of the running were 2 speakers against this deal.
Right, yep.
And 7 of them are local government officials. Now, I want to point something out. When I mentioned earlier, for all of you council people out there, what you could have done, like made a trip to Roosevelt, you could have done that anywhere in there. Kyle across from me did it twice, as did I. Chris made a trip out there too. All 3 of us made a trip to the headquarters landfill to visit with them as well and compare what we were seeing there. And we all went to the open house. And we have attended all the presentations of this data and this information in the various cities around the community. We've gone there too. Okay. So here's the funny part is that our, the local government people who are opposed to this deal in this situation, you've not been to any of the places we've been. You don't have any of the information that we have, and you're making a decision based on what? Okay, now, Kyle, I want you to mention, and if you had another comment there, go ahead. But I want you to talk about...
I got many.
Because there was a speaker. Pam showed up there last night. And apparently she had some classic stuff to share along these lines. So go ahead, guys.
So we do know that none of them have gone to Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them been to headquarters. And one went to the open house. We know that by
on
show
SWAC.
of on SWAC.
Only 3 members
by show of
the...
hands. So Pamela Torgerson, also hi Aaron. Pamela Torgerson asked the SWAC council, by show of hands, how many of you went to the open house at Expo Center on June 19th? I think 3, 4 raised their hand.
No,
One. Sorry, yeah, one. It was the headquarters that 3 or 4 of them went.
And that was a gentleman from Woodland or Kalama, the city manager.
We need to back up here because I need to point out the fact that everybody who spoke last night, except for myself and Kyle, none of them, not one of them, went to any of the open houses here to learn about this issue.
Correct.
And it's crazy to think how much misinformation there was in a lot of people's speeches. Also, by show of hands, how many members went to visit the Roosevelt landfill?
Mm-hmm.
None of them raised their hand. At this point, Jim Hill was like, uh-oh, I'm not raising my hand for anything. I feel threatened by a woman that knows more than me. So he said, I object to this. And then, so after that, she couldn't ask any more questions.
She still got one more in,
though.
Yeah, it was
great. She kept going.
Good for you, Pam.
By show of hands, how many members have visited and toured the HQ landfill? And the SWAC members being confused by the whole mess. Some of them even raised their hands and kept going. And like 3, 4 of them.
This is classic.
She wrapped it up with, as you can see, this board is unqualified, completely unqualified, because they don't know any of the information to make a decision on this. None of them know the information. Where are they getting this information?
You have a role and capacity in an advisory position. I think you ought to do your homework.
Okay, I have PowerPoints saved on my phone. I got posters saved on my phone. I got documents saved on my phone and PDFs saved on my phone. And I've been to Roosevelt twice. Yeah. I've been to HQ. I've been to the Expo Center on June 19th, open house. That's all related to this mess, and I'm not on the council. This isn't my job. Technically, this is my job. I'm supposed to know, but it's not my job. I'm not making a decision. But I have all this information on my phone. SWAC, I could have sent this to you if you wanted.
Well, SWAC has this information, Kyle. They have it. The same information that we have is the same information that was presented to SWAC. For them to say that they didn't get a good crack at this is just malarkey. You guys have to do your homework.
Here's the bottom line truth of other folks that have been in the community and who've been on, aside from, Arn Mortensen has championed this issue with the commissioner's office. He's been to Roosevelt. He's done a lot of the homework, gone around to the various cities and created the presentations. And then just recently, Dennis Weber went out to Roosevelt and I understand sent a very glowing response to the folks at Roosevelt and also the people in Klickitat County, the government people up there. And so, but having said all of that, those people aside, the only other individual that we could add to our broadcast team that could help round out the total information, the entirety of the information as it pertains to landfills and what goes on in this area would be Jeff Wilson. And that's it. The list gets extremely short then when we start looking beyond our broadcast team, Commissioner Mortensen, Commissioner Weber, who's now made a trip out there, and Jeff Wilson. Who else would you put on that list who's in our community, elected or otherwise, who has any of the background information, the entirety of the information as it pertains to the landfill? And the answer is a big fat goose egg. Although there is one exception who has been working very hard on the other side of this issue, and that would be Mike Karnofsky. He's been working on a landfill deal since
2014.
2014, yes.
I love how this has evolved to, we were going to sell this thing. We don't want it. We're going to sell it. Now we want it.
Hey, by the way, anybody who knows Mike Karnofsky and has spent time around him since the conception of all of these things have been going on publicly, knows that Mike Karnofsky has been in support of not just a public-private partnership, but he was in support of selling the landfill.
Yeah, he had,
and that comes from many different individuals inside the department itself.
Talking about selling the landfill, which we're not doing.
Yeah, we aren't selling the landfill, guys.
There's actually a man, that elderly man, that walked up there, and he gave a pretty good speech about why we shouldn't sell the landfill. He was completely misinformed about what was happening, and it was counted that he was against it, but he didn't understand. There's so much misinformation out there.
Was he one of the ones who thought the landfill was being sold?
Yeah, he thought the landfill was being sold. A lot of them did, and there's a lot of.
You know the folks that are on Keep HQ Co-Control, that is actually one of the points that they make on that website, or was initially, was that we shouldn't be selling the landfill. And they, if anybody, knew that that wasn't the situation.
One thing that did stand out, there is a woman that lived on Headquarters Road, and she said that if Republic Services took over, that instead of 110 trucks per day, there'd be 220 trucks per day.
Oh my gosh.
Which is not. No.
You know how hard it is to sit in the audience and listen to, such misinformation? Yeah, you're right. So she said that the trucks would double. It would be 210 trucks or 220 trucks a day. And then, of course, the real information came out, which would be they would only be adding a measly 3 trucks per hour to that. And yes, people, I do drive Headquarters Road quite frequently. There are several turnouts when you go up the hill, so you aren't going to be stuck behind a truck.
They were put in there when the landfill was done.
Right. I mean, it's just the misinformation. Again, I have yet, and again, I use Headquarters Landfill. One of our relatives lives out there. That's a road that we travel quite frequently. I have yet to be behind or get stuck behind a garbage truck.
Here's something else to know too, and which people may or may not be aware of, but these are among all the different details that we covered in our trip out to Roosevelt. When you go to Roosevelt, for the almost all of you who have never been there, when you go to Roosevelt, there's a different road that they put in themselves that goes around the landfill. And then, of course, there's a county road. And the Roosevelt trucks take their own road that they put in there. And the reason being is that the gearing, et cetera, that has been put in these trucks has been matched so that the rate of traffic up the road can go in harmony, so there isn't any huge slowdowns, and the rate of traffic going up the road is very efficient. That's one of the things that you could expect would happen over here, is that when you have many different trucks from many different locations and that's all you have, yeah, you can have 10 trucks ahead of you that are capable of going up this hill at the same speed you are. All you need is one slow Herbie up front, and he's dictating the pace of all the traffic.
Yeah, 140 trucks a day is what it's going to break up to. Mm-hmm. We're going to go from 110 to 140.
Now, they put the road in because in the contract with Klickitat County, once they hit 1 million tons, they'd actually put in their own road because there'd be so much traffic. Mm-hmm. So that was in the contract that they negotiated.
Not saying that that's going to be in our our contract. We don't know. This is the other thing, is that a lot of the things that I heard from the SWAC board last night were what ifs, what if situations. We don't even have a contract yet. Okay, most of the things haven't been negotiated yet. And
okay,
yet
let's play some. Let's do the SWAC thing. And let's play a little what if on the other side. What if the county doesn't do this deal?
Well, we all now, one of the misinformations out there that's being put out that is very, very dangerous is that they're saying that the clean air rule effect is off the table and we don't have to worry about it.
Completely false.
And that is a lie. It has qualified and gotten enough signatures and will be on the ballot. It is unpredictable, but we know how things go in this state when it comes to voting. They will most likely pass this clean air thing in November. So for them to say that it's off the table and not a factor is another lie. I'm going to call it straight out of line. We know it's going to be on the ballot.
Anybody who believes that the clean air issues are off the table, I have some more information for you as well. Mia Bellin has taken the next 10 years off. Department of Ecology in Olympia has actually closed their offices for the next decade or two. And they're doing all of that because headquarters landfill could potentially have some issues, and they don't want to be down here meddling in our business. So
right. Yeah.
they've decided to just
everything.
Yeah, they just halted everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you believe that the Clean Air Act is clean air issues and challenges are off the table, well, then also believe that Department of Ecology has
our
closed.
county is in big trouble because we don't have the money to. I mean, you guys thought you were crying before about the other landfills. Just wait.
And you know, the one of the comments that Mike Moss made to us when we made the trip up to headquarters is that essentially what they're asking for and what they're looking for is they want time to prove they can run it. Now, let's just, there are a number of reasons why that's not a very good idea. But let's just take a look at what's on the table financially for the county in 2019 with Republic Services running the landfill, and what's on the table financially in 2019 with the county running the landfill. That's about $2.5 million worth of, let's see if it'll work, that you're paying for on the low end. And they said they wanted 5 years. That's about $12.5 million plus in, let's see if this is going to work. That's the price tag. And of course, there's a number of other issues, but just on money alone, significant loss to the county in trying to see if Ron Williams and Mike Moss can make the landfill run, and we're comparing that expertise. No offense to these guys. They're great guys doing the best they can. But you're comparing that level of expertise to the expertise that, for those of you who did go to the open house and you got a chance to meet the folks over there, tons of people there, expertise beyond, well beyond what we have here in this community, in this county.
We don't have a contract yet. It's just early stages of, you know, this is what we're looking at type of a thing. Is that correct? There's not a contract that we're working from.
That is correct.
Right.
This is being negotiated.
Right. It's being negotiated, and there's things that are being negotiated that they can't even talk about yet.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, there's no contract. If there was a contract, this would be all done and we'd be moving forward. Mm-hmm. But no, it's just no contracts yet. When we say previously the contracts, we're talking about what's being looked at.
Yeah, it's what's being considered. And that actual vote to now then move forward with Republic hasn't been had yet. That's coming up. And then once that vote is had, and assuming that the county moves forward with this, then what the next step would be is the actual negotiation of the contract.
Negotiations, yeah.
Yeah, so
right now we're talking about things that will, you know, that are important for us, and it could be negotiated in the contract that they do put a road in up headquarters. I doubt it, but you know, hey.
You know what confuses me? They said that they're understaffed and not enough workers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to balance the 2019 budget, they're going to have to lay off 70 people.
Right.
So
that was in the actual program that the county is putting out, is that if the deal with Republic doesn't go through, they will have to lay off 75 people. And somebody posted on my page last night, well, you're correct, the Willis brothers won't really be hurt by this deal, but the people that they employ do. Well, if we don't do this deal, there's 70 people in the county that could lose their jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So again, we have to go with what's best for the community. Sometimes us managing things like the previous landfills don't work out. We can do a much better job, make more money, and be more protected by an outside company doing it. And the commissioners, all three of the commissioners, picked the right company.
For those of you who are, and we're out of time here, so we're going to have to run. But for those of you,
I have to shout out Waste
Go
Connections. Okay, first of all, a cup of morning, Joe. Welcome back. We're talking about the landfill, the headquarters landfill. We talk about it later, early episodes. You can find us on Facebook, so those are saved, and on YouTube. But the shout out to Waste Connections. So Waste Connections really likes to, be sad that their, contract didn't go through because their deal's not good enough. So they want to throw a monkey wrench into everything and ruin the deal for everybody. So I gave Eddie
Westmoreland.
Eddie, Westmoreland.
I like to call him Crooked Eddie.
I gave him a card and I said, hey, next Wednesday, not this Wednesday, Wednesday the 18th, come on down and we'll have you on the show.
And you can explain why we should do a restart.
Well, check what he left, not only with like transcripts and stuff, but he also left our business card.
Eddie, you forgot the card for Northwest Digital News on your seat. So apparently you won't be in contact with us, and we're kind of curious as to why not. If you think we should do all of this, give us a call.
So in retaliation, I sent Waste Connections Inc. on Facebook a message. I've also tagged them in this show. I've also posted on their page this show. And I've also commented on this picture because Chris posted it. I commented Waste Connection Inc. in the comments. I've also posted that picture to Waste Connections Inc. So, I mean, they got to say something eventually.
Kyle, you're a devilish, mischievous character over there.
I mean,
all right. We have to wrap up, but I just want to say this. For those of you that are still convinced that the county should maintain control of the landfill and run the landfill, I just want to say this. Look at the county's experience running landfills. Look at Republic Services' experience running landfills. Enough said. All right. Thanks for joining us here on Northwest Digital News. For those of you who are looking for local events to go to, there is a parade coming up on Saturday in Kalama.
Woohoo! I love
And
parades.
the R Pirates and the NDN pirate ship will be there again.
This Saturday?
This
You
Saturday
will be there.
in Kalama. Yes, I'll be. You can go. Feel free to go down there and join them. But hey, I got to say this.
Well, I don't know.
Make a prediction. The our pirates and the Savage Hunter pirate ship will win another award in Kalama. I'll make that prediction because both of the local parades it's been in won best costume in Longview and best of show in Rainier, and we have the trophies to prove it.
Also, thanks, Connie.
I have so much more to say, but we just have so little time today, and
Oh, I can go on.
I'm amazed at some of the things I see going on in our county. But
all
anyway.
right, well, we got a test broadcast to do with another